What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television, and today we're going to be getting into a limited series that I had enjoyed back in the day. That ran from 1988 to 1989. But before we get into all that, I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, sharing, all that beautiful YouTube stuff. I hope that today is the day that I earn your subscription. If so, there's a red subscribe bar down below. It takes a few minutes for you, a few seconds for you, but for the impact of the channel, it can last forever. Every little interaction helps us get noticed more and more from others that may want to join our community here at Tully Television, and our love for pop culture and what it means for us here. But without further ado, let's get into the limited series I want to get into, called Havok and Wolverine Meltdown. It's a 4-issue run. That's the first issue. Here's the picture on the back. The premise of this is, or how it starts off, is that Havok, Alex Summers, and Wolverine are in Mexico having a bit of a boys' night out, boys' weekend out, so to speak. To blow off some steam from the highly stressful job of being an X-Men. And a little fun bet that they have going on is that there's to be no powers used for any reason. Otherwise, the one who does the powers first has to pick up the bar tab for all of the weekend. And Havok jokes with how Wolverine drinks, he'll be broke by the night. Forget about the weekend. And he also says you have a healing factor, so you can get drunker for longer. And Wolverine was like, well, I won't use my claws or anything for anything. And it's kind of like, that's not fair, man. That's not fair. And that's pretty much where we kind of pick up with us here. We also meet a person by the name of General Meltdown, who's kind of talking about the neutrons and stuff like that, protons, that the atom. Basically, what this story revolves around is Russia and the general being upset that they weren't necessarily ahead of the arms race with nuclear weaponry at the time. So they were trying to figure things out, because this was around the time that Chernobyl had melted down, and so they're concerned about continuing their work, continuing their research on this. But they do have, General Meltdown is going to have an idea on what to do. Every time they attempt these experiments, they just blow up in the scientist's face, killing everyone or killing people around them. And the Russians feel like if they have a more controlled energy release of nuclear power, that they could, look for what they're looking for to finally succeed in what they're looking for. And here is when we start picking up with Wolverine and Havok in the bar, fighting a bunch of guys. Wolverine happened to insult one of the family members of these guys. Havok is just letting him take care of it alone, so to speak. Wolverine can handle himself. And I have to say, I did like the art in this a lot. Before I continue on with the story, I also want to tell you that it's written by Walter and Louise Simonson. The primary artist behind the Havok work is John Muth, Muth, and a lot of the Wolverine art is Billy Oakley. So we had a couple of different artists working on this together. But overall, I really enjoy how it looks. It looks like it's like almost like a water painting type of art style. And I just think that's very, very nice. It's one of the highlights of the story for me is the art. The story is okay. It's not like it's going to be any sort of major impact story. It doesn't have a full, like, far-reaching implications into the Marvel Universe. It's just like basically these two have a weekend adventure somewhere that almost winds up destroying the world, but no one really knows about it. These bunch of guys that Wolverine beat up the night before come back to try to kill him, and they happen to come across a woman here who is willing to help with her car. They allow her to come with her. They allow her to come with them. I'm sorry. And because with these guys, Alex is feeling like if she dies, they're going to be partially responsible for that. So in this car chase, these guys are really looking to take out Wolverine and Havok here because of that bar fight the night before. But you would think that it's starting to become a little bit more intense because now we have like this heavy-duty soldier here with a heavy-duty gun. The woman seems to be like, what are you guys up to? Laser guns, this, that, the other thing. What are you guys, Luke Skywalker and Han Solo? And then we even get more. It just like keeps escalating. And at this point, you have to realize that this might be a little bit more due to something else other than a bar fight from the night before. It really, it's not making sense. I insulted your sister, and now the next day I got laser guns and 50 men after me. It's crazy. But finally, they're in a position where Alex has to finally use his power. And he does. He unleashes his nuclear power, his like radiation power that he gets, and that's all that was needed for the plan to start being enacted. Because this young lady right here, who they thought they were saving, actually betrays them and shoots them both unconscious. And Wolverine wakes up in a hospital. Whenever that is, saying that he was found unconscious. His friend was not. His friend had died. That was with him, and they had already buried him. And they're trying to convince Wolverine of this, that Havok is no longer around. But for some reason, Wolverine, of course, is not believing that. He wants to see a body. We in comic books know that if you don't see a body, the person's still alive, right? And Wolverine is getting the scent of Alex to be like, where is he? Where is he? Because even if, let's just say he did die, right? Wolverine would still have to go and explain to Cyclops what happened, right? Like, yeah, your brother died in Mexico, and this is what happened, and I took out the guys who did it, and this and that. and this is where he's buried. And finally, Wolverine seems to perhaps have found where Alex was at, and thinking that maybe Alex is really done, and he's getting, obsessive with trying to get this casket out, because he really still seems to not want to believe that Havok is done. And Wolverine was right. No Alex in the casket, which leads to the question, why are the doctors telling Wolverine that his friend is dead when he's not? He's clearly not buried in the place they said he was buried. Wolverine is going to obviously believe he's alive and try to figure out how to save him. But we have to figure out where Alex is at this point, right? Is he getting told the same thing about Wolverine being dead? Where exactly is he being held up and what's getting told to him? But we all know that once Wolverine hunkers down on something, he's not going to let it go until the final conclusion is drawn out from said situation. I did like the beginning of this limited series. I thought it was, again, interesting. I enjoyed the art. I thought it was a fun little story. Again, you don't have to necessarily put it into canon in any specific time around that time period. It's not like, oh, this happened in between issues 145 and 154 behind the scenes. It's not all about all that. It's a nice little self-contained story for the most part. I'm not sure that Marvel really ever touched back on these characters after this limited series. I'm thinking maybe the character Scarlet that gets introduced, but we'll get more into that. But, let me know what you thought about this opening issue of this limited series. Do you like my reviews on older comics, or do you like just like the newer stuff? Do you want to see more Wolverine stuff like this? Do have a little playlist. I still got to catch up on the Infinity Watch limited series I started, and want to finish up with that. But in between of that, I wanted to start on this because I had at least this complete story as well, to give you guys, just some fun content to watch when you're on your way to work or something like that, or laying down and relaxing. Let me know if you like the story. Let me know what you like about it down below. And until next time, peace, Snookums.